You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The case against R. Kelly does reveal a pattern of unfairness that even a 10-year-old can recognize. There has been a tendency for the authorities to imagine that they can hold R. Kelly accountable for actions he allegedly, and I repeat allegedly orchestrated back in the years when he was in his late 20s and early 30s, yet presenting women that met him when they were in the same age bracket as victims. What many do not understand is why one party becomes the adult that must take responsibility for his alleged actions in his late 20s and early 30s, while the women shouldn't take responsibility for their own decisions while in the same age range. And this is the very same injustice we see when R. Kelly is supposedly meant to be held accountable for being with underage woman Azriel, yet her parents who in fact deceived him that their daughter was of age and solicited her to him as an adult woman they now say she wasn't are not being questioned for their role in this allegation. We also see similar injustice when the very women that stalked R. Kelly outside the courtroom back in 2008, and did all the self-pitching as potential mistresses to him are all exonerated, and the act of enticement pinned onto the R&B King, yet he was the one lured by the actions of these women and not the other way round. Returning to the age range issue, we all know that while the government argues that R. Kelly was involved with underage women, not all accusers even claimed they were underage when they met him. Some of them, for example Faith Rogers, for whom he was wrongfully determined guilty of both forced labor and Mann Act violation, were clearly above the federal consent age of 18. But this did not compel the jurors and judge that she should have in fact been responsible for her actions and decisions as the adult woman she was. Because R. Kelly was already labeled a predator, the government together with the Department of Justice found it rather easy to slot in matters of older women who were way above not just the state age of consent, but even the federal 18-year cap. Another example is former radio DJ Kitty Jones, who at the age of 32 still managed to abandon her paid job and career to become yet another mistress of R. Kelly. This is the same adult woman who claims that R. Kelly locked her in one of his studio rooms and held her there against her will for hours, yet during this period she managed to order her favorite food from a nearby restaurant, and was all along in possession of her phone but did not think it necessary to call the police, or at least her family, to rescue her from the alleged captivity. It's rather important to remember that this is the claim that caused the media to write about the women held captives in R. Kelly's basement, attracting charges as major as kidnap onto his charge sheet. It's just so unfair of both the government and the courts of law, to have selectively determined who should take responsibility for their actions without thinking that just as R. Kelly is currently being questioned for decisions he made when he was in his late 20s, these very adult accusers were equally in their early 30th and others simply above 18, and they should have equally known what they were doing. I mean, we cannot be talking victims under 18 and at the same time victims over 30 in the same case that alleges pedophilia. This actually does show how the world was misguided to think R. Kelly targeted underage women, yet technically these women were not just adults but many of them really old, and some such as Lisa Van Allen even having the audacity to lie about their ages. The fact that those alleged to be underage are only underage by federal law and not by state law also indicates that R. Kelly's was not necessarily targeting underage women, but could have ended up with 17-year-old Azriel, for example, because he was deceived by her own parents, and with anyone else because he believed the state laws would suffice. To judge him harshly, therefore, like someone who intentionally pursued underage women for their status of being below the age of consent is far-fetched and inappropriate. It's written all over that he didn't do this, and therefore labeling him a predator was a very huge misconception of things. Predator of what? 32-year-old Kitty Jones? 34-year-old Asante McGee? Or 19-year-old Faith Rogers, who willingly flew from place to place looking to sleep with her newfound love? It's time to get more particular with this case against R. Kelly and deny the haters an opportunity of confusing the whole world into thinking he was so bad a man, and that he targeted underage women, which was never true. Meanwhile, as he is being crucified for the likes of Azriel, who claimed they were only at the border of turning 18, has stated that she was only less than 5 months away from turning 18 when she met with R. Kelly, it would be nice to give the jurors and Judge Ann Donnelly a simple test. One where a number of women, some 17 and a half and some 18, to determine who is who. a test which many are more than likely to fail. Even though they will have prior knowledge that some of these women lined up are actually below 18, the chances of failure are still very high. Now add the factor of a malicious mother who actually does want to see the woman get involved with the man so badly, and is making the effort to coach her on how to make believe she was 18, and is shrewd enough to even text the man and pretend to be the daughter, engaging in a mature and salacious discussion which can also be proof of age. This would make it even more difficult for the R&B king to even have a clue that the woman who also bears an ID that shows 18 could have been 17 and a half. We do think it's important that the world gets to know the actual facts surrounding the case against R. Kelly, and how he was framed in a media frenzy of accusations so the world would think he was actually the villain they have portrayed him to be. R. Kelly may currently be in prison for all the wrong reasons, but even though he is still held up in a place where he doesn't deserve to be, we feel it important that the world knows the truth of what is exactly being done to him. According to Brenda Jones, whatever they are doing to R. Kelly ain't right. He is not a murderer or predator, whatever the title is. They want us to believe all this like he had plenty time to commit all the alleged crimes. No, he didn't. It looks like somebody is paying so he can be kept in prison, but I will be happy when all this eventually comes to light. He is only locked up because childish women playing little girls can't have their way around him anymore. Come on, we definitely know better looking even from outside, and we will not be fooled. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.